All right. I think I'm live. What? I'm using a new system here. Yeah, it says I'm live, but I can't see what everybody's saying. I don't have a chat here. Here we go. I have some semblance of a chat. And I see people are, it's detecting people maybe, but how do I dock it so that it's, here we go. So I can kind of see it. Chat is currently waiting for new messages. All right, so. Let's see, it should be detecting new inputs. Let's see. So yeah, let me check on my YouTube to see if people are typing, and it's just, oh, there we go. Someone typed. Cool. Hola. Hola. Good to see the chat's working. So I'm just trying a new like service that kind of like lets me go to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And also you can see me now. So, hello. Hey man, how you doing? Doing good. Happy to be here. So yeah. So, now let me minimize this, and then we can get to the actual thing. Let's see. All right. So we're doing the actually no, I have to, hold on. I have to get booze ready because we're still going to I'm still gonna take a shot every time SPC tool crashes. So give me 1 second on that. I'll be right back. All right, so virtual hug. Hey, virtual hug. There you go. Bien. Yes, I remember that word. Okay, so we now have hold on, the chat is blocking my view of myself. So I had the same thing as before. Last stream we had Bayou Rum Gator Bite. And so I'm going to be taking a shot of that every time SPC tool crashes. Which SPC tool, if you didn't know, is the program that we're using to monitor the original soundtrack, and so that I can see. You won't be able to see it, but you can hear it here if I play the soundtrack. And what it allows me to do is monitor the soundtrack in SP, like in all the. It allows me to see everything that's going on, all the pitch information, all the samples that are being played, and whatnot. So we're gonna and it's also prone to a lot of crashing. So I'm gonna be taking a shot every time it crashes, and we'll see what happens with that. Have you ever thought about doing the soundtrack for Super Metroid? I have thought about it. Might be a thing. That would be just about the only video game I'd be willing to do besides Donkey Kong Country, because I'm not much of a video game music guy. I really enjoy the Legend of Zelda main theme from the NES, and I really enjoy the Mario main theme from the NES. That's about it. Not much more than that I can stomach. Besides Super Metroid, because Super Metroid's really cool sounding. Themes isn't there only one tune? Mama Bird and the one that plays it. Well, there's the cave is the main thing right here. The cave that you go when you're playing the little Simon Says game to get the birds from the crystal or whatever. Yeah. So we're gonna start off with that one because that's the most common theme. So I have it pulled up here. This is the one we're gonna start off with. So now let's see. I guess no one's talking on Twitch yet, which I don't really have many people on Twitch, so that makes sense. But yeah. So we're going to I'm gonna play that one way through. And then I'm going to start adding some samples in that I know I'm going to need. Don't remember that part. Alright, so that's not much to it. That's why we're doing 3 in 1. So yeah. I think my first thing is that I'm gonna need is the strings, which I have a new sample for actually. Let me pull up my Dropbox. Strings, here we go. Let's see how those sound. So for the strings we got and first off, the timing of this, we're gonna want to do what we normally do. I forgot to loop it also. So it looks like it's also going to be in 3/4. Not really, but it's encoded in 3/4. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like it lines up pretty well now. And looks like we have a clear loop point here, which will be right here at 16. So we'll go and take this out, and cut it at bar 16, and then make a new pattern. So this is our one loop, and yeah. So now we have our string loop here. That's the second and third. Yeah. No, this is the first channel. Second and third one right here. So we should move this one downward. So these two things are what we're concerned about right here. And it looks like it's a 2-bar loop-ish. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, it looks like it's. Let's see, dun 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 dun. It looks like it's a bar and a half of a loop. Maybe this is an actual 3/4. It's like in a polyrhythm. So that's cool. What I'm going to do is grab 2 iterations of it then, so we have a clean loop of 3 bars. Here we go. So I'll grab this, make a new pattern, call it strings. And then we'll make sure that it goes to channel 1. So yeah, look, wait, I forgot about the velocity too. So yeah, it looks like it goes in a 3-bar loop actually with the velocity. So that's cool. Now we need to grab the other layer, lower layer. Dun dun dun. Cool. All right, so let's see what y'all are saying. I made an acoustic cover of the Mama Bird soundtrack, but I never uploaded it. Maybe I should submit it to OC Remix or something. Maybe both. Upload it to YouTube and then submit it to OCR. Because that sounds cool, an acoustic cover of this, you know, with guitar and whatnot. But yeah, Cody. Hey, hi Cody. What's up? Good to see you again. Linus Olson music. Evening. Hey, evening. Oh look, camera. Yes, I have a camera feed now, or whatever your time zone implies. I am CST, so it's 1:34 p.m. I am here. Wait, isn't it 6/8? I don't know. I don't really get into stuff that much. Isn't 6/8 just a double of 3/4? So it's like, you know, you can divide it. I don't know. Cleanly into 3/4, so it's not really a thing. I don't know. I'm not really much into that stuff. I wish I knew what he is saying. I wish I knew what I'm saying too. I have no idea. Are you aware of SD2? I'm not even going to try to pronounce that jumble of letters. Giving is capable of giving SNES game CD quality. So do you plan to, you know, make a ROM hack with your music? First off, I don't even know what SD2 SNES is, so that's a tongue twister to me. So I've never heard of that. So make a ROM hack with your music. I've never made a ROM hack with anything, so definitely not. I leave that. And as far as making the game playable with my music, someone's already done that. It's someone named Q. I don't remember his name, but QWERTYmoto. Yeah, QWERTYmoto's done that. I don't handle any ROM stuff. I'm strictly a music guy. I don't do any kind of video game tech stuff. He's basically talking about parts that he's going to sound and change how I fell out there. And he did with DK1, and he used MSU1 chip. Yeah, that thing. It's called MSU1. So look up MSU1, and I'm still waiting on my guy to make a MSU1 chip of DK2. So we'll stay tuned on that. I really say thank you, guy. You're welcome, guy. Other guy. I believe he completed the OST for DK1. Yeah, as for 2 and 3, he's still working on it. I'm done with DK2. DK3 is still being worked on. Links can be found in the description of any of the videos. There's a link to the entire repository of what's it called? Finished tracks. Does the sound a little lower now? I don't know. My voice is definitely should be loud enough because it's almost peaking there, but the sound output is a little lower. We can turn it up for now, but when it's definitely like the way it is now. Well, the sound is low velocity here, so that's why it's playing low. But yeah, you'll be able to hear it more when I bring it up. I can barely hear it myself. SD2 SNES is a flash card that makes it possible to play SNES ROMs on an actual SNES. Can't the cartridge already do that? Or I guess you can't hack a cartridge. I don't know. I'm not really into all that stuff. I just use an emulator and I'm happy with that. That's a sick beat for a club song. This isn't even a beat yet. It doesn't. Okay, so anyway, so we have this sort of rhythm, polyrhythm, and it's got echo notes, so we want to remove that, just kind of remove every other note here. Dum, da, dum, Let me see if I can get closer to the mic here. Yeah. All right. So now we can kind of stretch these notes out. So quick legato, and then kind of stretch this one out. Cool. So now we want to kind of bring up the velocity so it's audible. Maybe not that much. Let me give it a sort of 75% maybe. Maybe give it to a half velocity on the stronger part. Cool. So now it's coming in stronger. Now the only problem is we definitely want the attack to go all the way down. I think I want drive up a bit. Give it a little saturation. A little bit of release, maybe 50 ms. A little bit of reverb too. Actually, I don't see any coming through. None at all. All right. Don't want so much chorus, or maybe just... Yeah, I don't think that chorus sounds too good. Definitely want a high pass. A little bit. So we need a decay on it. We need the notes to be shorter and more staccato. So we're going to go into the... We're going to take down the sustain. And I think I want it to be stronger still, because I think that the volume went down a bit. There we go. Now that should line up. Definitely going to want it to be a little warmer. But that's something we could do in post. Cool. So that's a good start. I'm going to name this strings. And I'm going to give it a mixer track where I'm going to pull down the highs to make it a little softer. Still want to kind of just, well, really just pull them down. Don't low pass it. Cool, and so this should have reverb too, definitely a lot of reverb. Definitely should have like a cave type of reverb. There we go. Now we need our delay, because there was an echo that we had to remove. So what's the interval on that? So we'd be 1.5 steps is what we're looking for. So we go if we look in the top left corner here, we go make the number say 112. No, 124. Cool, that sounds really good actually. And I guess since the original doesn't have reverb, we don't want it to have that much reverb, but definitely want it to be sharp. Maybe a little sharper on the like shorter of a note. And I think I want to put a compressor on that right before the delay. So maybe that'll really like sharpen the notes here. Check it out. Now you can really hear that transient. So they're still pretty quiet, but then again, they were supposed to be pretty quiet, so. Yeah, they're supposed to be kind of pretty in the background as I hear it. Definitely maybe take the drive down a bit, because they're supposed to be really soft, smooth sounds. There you go. That's perfect right there. So now we have our loop. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to go and place that. I think it's going to play all the way through up until the end of our loop, which is not long, 16 bars. And this is probably going to go down here somewhere in the middle. Cool. So let's see what y'all are saying. Oh wow, y'all got into a debate here. Where did you find the gibberish from the funky song? That was, I believe, Nsonic CDR 1 through 4. So there's like some CDs of the Nsonic library, and I got it from digitalsoundfactory.com. And it's basically just a library of a lot of Nsonic sounds, and I think it was CDR 2. I found it because that was where there's a lot of vocal snips. That door is the darkest shade of blue I've ever seen. It's not that dark, actually, but it is pretty cool. SNES uses a micro SD card, I think, where you can place the ROMs in it. Oh, I do know micro SDs. Cool. That's definitely not something I knew about. Chile. Anyways. Someone's from Chile. Hey. What software are you using? FL Studio. Definitely. Well, I've got to go. I'm looking forward to the finished version of the song. Alright, have a good one. Superjet. Nice. Well, you can play almost every SNES game, including ROM hacks, randomized ROMs on an actual SNES. Cool. I never understood the, I guess it's cooler to play on hardware in some way. It definitely won't mess up as much. You know, it's the emulators tend to be inaccurate in some ways. I'm here. What up, Orange or Xavier? Glad you could make it. So those tools look very handy with the effects plugins. Oh yeah, this is I mean, all these are really stock FL plugins. None of them are VSTs, so you get them whenever you buy FL. Like all this Convolver. And it all says Fruity at the beginning of it, so that means it's FL Studio, Fruity Loop Studios, proprietary plugins. Wait a minute, you're restoring the Crystal Cave theme. Yeah, that's one of the Banana Bird themes. It's awesome. I've been waiting for this for so long. I've been waiting for this all my life. Nice face reveal cam. Thank you. This is one of my favorite. Frank Seraphine Water. Is that a water brand, or is that like a song and Frank Seraphine did the thing? It was something amusing about how epic this track looked and confident contrast to how goofy the birds look. Yeah, that's how the difference in styles of composing. So, versus game design. Crystal Chasm is the name of this song. Right, that one. Favorite tree is the forest theme in DK3. The bouncing spiders and the jumping new level is all happy. It pretty much goes against how... Yeah, everything, it's always like video game themes these days are too happy. Or they're just really dark cinematic stuff. There were actually bananas in a peel, but I saw the break into the promotional artwork. Always loved the SFX of the crystals. Blah, blah, blah. Four sound effects of the front. C minor. Laterally named C, D, E flat, and F. Okay. Well, let's see. How do you identify the soundtracks? Are they named in the ROM? Yeah, they're named in SPC tool. That's kind of just what I go by as a rule of thumb. Alright, so now we've got... What's next? So there's this lead synth here, I think, that goes in the beginning, in the top. So it looks like this will be the same deal, except that it's the res wave synth. So let's do synth. And we know that this is the DK2 synth. Which I have recreated in Harmor. And let's bring up the velocity here to about, let's see. And we need to give it an attack first of all. This looks like it has attack, but not that much. So it has a more nasally quality to it. If you use hertz scale, that sounds much better. So that's about the timbre, but there's still some high frequencies missing there. I think there should be another saw wave on top of that, like that's kind of like giving it that bleed through with the filter, or maybe I should just turn the filter. Can I turn the filter like off, like kind of fade in the filter, fade in the effectiveness of the filter? Because that would be really useful. Definitely a lower cutoff. Just have to get that timbre right. I think that's the timbre right there. It just needs to have a little bit of bleed through as far as the like letting the high frequencies through. That sounds about right. There we go. That might be the timbre right there. So now let's add in some delay. If we recall correctly, it was at 1. The interval was 1.5 steps, so 124. So let's say there's also a high pass on the delays. I also like to have a chorus on it. And let's see, maybe we can get that distorted, because there's like a saturated effect from using a compression heating. Definitely, I think it needs to be more shorter notes. That sounds good. also some reverb on this. Now the cave isn't very big, so we don't want a big reverb. Just kind of a small room, sort of, so to speak. There we go. That's perfect right there. Sort of a brassy sound, I feel like it's trying to be. Okay, so that sounds good. Let me add it to the mix. Bring up these delays here. It's coming together. There we go. Maybe not so much reverb here. After all, we do want it to just be a small cave, so maybe I'll drop in... Actually, let's just do our whole TSAR thing right now, since we're going to do it eventually. Usually I try to save CPU, but I don't see this taking up a lot of CPU. That sounds good. Might want to turn down the sawtooth synth. Cool. So that's good. I like that. Let's see what y'all are saying. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. That's the Emperor's New Groove, man. I love that movie. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Right. Oh, right. Yeah. Love that movie. I tried SoundCloud, but the limited time. Okay. So, anyway. So, now we got the next thing is... See, there's going to be some bunch of little synth arpeggios kind of thing going on. Ooh. Fun stuff here. So it's got that synth again. We're going to need to make another iteration of that. Now let me try and save this preset right here, because I think this is a good one. So I think what is kind of going on here is you have a she's kind of trying to recreate the sense where you have a synthesizer arpeggio going, and you're sort of doing a filter sweep at the same time as you like while you're kind of like hitting the arpeggio note. So that's kind of what we're gonna go for here. Let me copy that thing. So the original channel is that should be this one right here. That's the first one, 6. So let's copy that. So let's say arpeggio. This is going to be our arpeggio track. So now we're going to get another iteration of the sawtooth thing. So now this one's going to need to pluck a bit. Now that's good. We just need to change the cutoff, but we're going to do that in a minute. First we need to duplicate these like kind of arpeggios. Oh. SPC tool crashed on me. Alright, shot time. So while it kind of takes its time there, let me get the ROM going. Alright. So that's good. Bottoms up. Good stuff. Alright. First shot of the day. So what we've got going on is sort of we're going to need to automate two things. We're going to need to automate the cutoff, which is usually the case with this kind of synth. And we're going to need to automate the attack here. So what we have going on is that, let me make sure I've got the right amount of echoes first, or the right amount of arpeggios. So I think that last one is supposed to be an actual delay, which means that we only really need 4. So what we're going to do, the first one's going to have no attack at all, and then we're going to need to kind of automate this attack where it's like, okay, what's actually there now is what we have, and then we're going to increase it. But it's not increasing. I don't know why. I don't usually use this attack thing. I think because, oh yeah, because we got it set where the maximum is 0. Like is what happens whenever you. So we set it with some attack, and we say, okay, now at the beginning we're going to have no attack. So see, it's plucking even though it shows you have a slope here. We're going to start our slope here, and we're going to go to the middle, let's say. But the arpeggio start, like the second arpeggio starts right here at 3 steps. So we're going to start the slope right here. See, that sounds, see, now it sounds good. That sounds perfect, actually. See, but in the last one, it stops. It goes back to being a pluck kind of thing. So it's going to go. And then the last one right here, it's going to go back down suddenly. It just kind of cut back to 0. But we don't hear, like, see, it's sort of cutting it off. I have to change it earlier. See, so if we do that, so we sort of have our delay on there already, but what we need is I think it's a 3-step delay. Let's see. Yeah, 3 steps. So we need a 3-step delay. And we need to hear it past here. So let's go extend this note. And we need less feedback because we only want to hear 1 echo. Wait, I just changed the time. Whoops. So let's say 10%. There we go. That's perfect. And we haven't, it sounds really good now, and we haven't even done the cutoff yet. So cool. So now we just need cutoff. And I think we need a sharper decay too. There we go. But I think the ending decay is stronger than the beginning. Yeah, see, like the decay kind of grows too. Which means that what we need is to start it off at what it is, and then kind of have it grow. There we go. That sounds pretty good. Maybe we could make it a little more. That's perfect right there. Okay, so now we need to do the cutoff. So let's go and sort of eyeball the cutoff. We're going to do it with notes this time. Let's just do a regular sweep. That's too hot, too strong on the high end, that's for sure. Let's go to the middle. Definitely not strong enough. Maybe a little too strong. Okay, so kind of we need a little bit of a curve here. Starts out like maybe this, and then it gets slower. There we go. And I think we need more decay on the last part. There we go. There we go. Definitely don't need such sharp highs on this one. So maybe a little bit warmer. Actually, no, I want to kind of hear those sharps a little bit more, but not that much. Maybe, but a little more cut off. Just a little more. Maybe not that much cut off. So that's pretty good for the first line. So now we have other, well, not other lines. We have other echoes. So these two are really, there's only one echo. So that echo can kind of, and the echo, that final echo only happens at the end there. So let's go and I want to kind of have the filter sort of burst out in this part. Maybe we sort of introduce it with volume too, and then have the final one burst into the... And maybe we sort of have... the reverb kind of comes down, like... So maybe we sort of have it where... Let me listen to it again. Maybe we sort of have it where the reverb comes out. The original doesn't do any of this, but maybe we sort of have it just for like extra depth, where the reverb sort of fades, like it's fading out from the distance, like it's coming from the background of the cave and going into the foreground. Or maybe it's going backwards, it's fading into the background. It's starting out in the foreground and fading into the background. I think we want a bigger size than that. But I definitely think we want it to stay the same volume. There, that way we can hear that sort of like lower one even without the reverb. Let me try it. Maybe it stays. If maybe it stays the same. I definitely think it sounds better if the reverb sort of introduces itself. Maybe not. It doesn't get that much, but sort of introduces itself. There we go. I like that. There we go. That curve is much better there. Beautiful. Love it. All right. So let's see what y'all are saying real quick. Okay, I've seen enough. I'm interested. I've only been here a minute. Hey. Currently I use all right. Gotta go to class. Baby. All right. Please could you only restore one track from Blackthorn? I don't know, but I'll check out that game, but we'll see. If the music is cool, I'll restore it. So, anyway. Now we've got that. Wait, we need to add a delay onto it. Well, more delay than what's already there. We have sort of an echo at the end, but we need a overall delay. So let's say this is the synth lead, so to speak, or synth arp. And then the other one, which we still need a track for, synth rhythm. So this is synth arp. So we got synth arp and synth rhythm, and this one's going to have a delay on it of, I'm going to assume it's like a step and a half, because it probably is. But that doesn't sound quite right so far. That sounds pretty right. Let me check it, because I don't know about how that sounds. So it actually looks like it's 2 steps, which is close, but no cigar. There we go. That's that sound we're looking for. That sort of really fast, plucky sound. Cool. So let's add this up here. I know it's going to start at about half a bar. Might need to work on that synth a bit later. So how many times does that synth arpeggio happen? I think it only happens the one time, really. But it looks like there's another echo here. Is that it? Ah, there is. Okay, so what's the interval of this one? Oh, it's just another echo on top of it, I think. So we got this one at half a bar. Then this one at 2 steps. And then this one at another 2 steps. So it's really just another... We might have to increase the level of it. There we go. That's beautiful. That sweep is just great. Just perfect. Cool. So now that does it for that first synth line. Now we need... Yeah, because there's no more of these. So now we need this... I think it's the bell. There's like... So it looks like it's just a one sweep up. And then it's like an echo all the way through. So we got that one sweep, this arpeggio, this sort of pentatonic line. And then it echoes at an interval of 1, 2, 3 steps. Cool. So we got that. Let's just copy that. And then we also have an echo at 1 step. So it's 1 and 3 steps. So now that crystal is the... Oh, it froze. Ah, man. I gotta take another shot. Alright. Let's see what y'all are saying first. Okay. We're trying blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, free version of FL is usable. You can't save your projects, but it's very useful if you want to just get, a good idea. Alright. Woo! Alright. And if I get too uninhibited to be able to handle all this, then we'll just go and play DK2 or something. Okay, anyway. Now, coming back here to this track. And this is that jazz guitar. So the bell doesn't come in yet. This is the jazz guitar from the Wave Station, which was first used in DK2, so it'll be in the DK2 folder. So let's make a new track and call it... Well, actually, no, we can put it in the arpeggiator track, because it's technically part of the arpeggio. And we just need to know its position. So this thing starts at half a bar. Half a bar in. And so does this one. So we can just copy it at the next bar. There we go. See? That sounds really good so far. Now we just need an attack on it. So it needs to have a sort of soft attack. Let me mute out that synth because it's going to interrupt me a lot. There we go. Now we can kind of hear it. But it's very quiet. So, which is probably because our velocity... No, our velocity is good. It's just that... That's right, the Wave Station one runs kind of quiet. There we go. That ought to do us. That's good. That'll do. Cool. I like that. Now we just need, let me see if I can do effects in the plugin and sort of know how to work it. See, delay time, but delay time is running in milliseconds. We don't want that. So let's go and add it to a channel. Let me say, yeah, jazz guitar. And so we're gonna do at 3 steps. No, wait, was it 3 steps? Yeah, it was 3-step delay. 3-step delay. Cut off a little bit. Let's give it a lot of level. Maybe not that much. Well, actually, yeah, that much. Give it some... Actually, this should be a stereo... Oh, stereo time right, left. There we go. I don't think there's any panning in this song, so it helps to do like a sort of stereo separation. Cool, so now we have a secondary delay at, what was the interval? 1 step. Yeah, that's right. This one's going to be low level. And maybe we'll do ping pong this time. See, there we go. Now it's starting to have that sort of flowiness from the original. Beautiful. Love it. All it needs is a reverb now. So this is going to be in the lead channel, or the lead bus. And we're going to give that a TSAR1. Sort of give it a hall reverb maybe. Give this a lot of reverb, so maybe an extra notch after 20. Beautiful. Love it. Give it even more. Perfect. Lots of reverb. But maybe smaller space, because we're in a small cave. A little bit more, maybe 122. Perfect. Now it doesn't quite fade in from 0 enough. I don't have enough control over this. I don't have as much control over this envelope as I thought. So let me sort of use the sample instead of using the actual WaveStation plugin. Because I want to kind of play with this envelope a bit. And this should not be like that. It should not have free tempo. Let me save it. Cool. Perfect. I think that sounds exactly how I want it to sound. All right. So, oh, you mean music for listening as opposed to some visual thing like a TV show? Huh. I don't know if that's meant for me. Loved your DKC remix of the best ones on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. All right. And I don't know if I want that much reverb on it. Who's calling me right now? Spam call. Doesn't matter. All right. So we definitely don't need this much reverb. There we go. That's good. That's like a happy medium. I like that. I don't think I want that much release on it. There we go. It sort of has that sharper feel, you know, like it's the DKC series has this thing where it does a lot of like really sharp notes, you know, to sort of give it a Latin percussive feel. Because like if you listen to Latin music, Latin Afro music anyway, there's like a lot of sharp drums and a lot of like the guitar is very like short notes. So the DKC series had a lot of short notes. So we want to get that feeling. That very monophonic, flowy arpeggio feeling. Beautiful. Love it. All right, so next sound is going to be that bell, which I know what it is. It's the crystal from the Ensoniq series. It's like the Ensoniq CDRs, the Ensoniq, which is pretty much their proprietary library. So what we're going to do is go... see, it sort of like comes in, it fades in a bit, and then it goes out. So these are all going to be echoes, but this is going to be the original signal. And what we're going to do is, so there's an echo at 2 steps and at also 2 steps. So it's really just an echo at 2 steps that has a high feedback. So let's go and find our bell sound. Should be called Crystal with a K. There we go. And which part, what track does that go under? This one. So this will just go with the next bar. Actually, it's a bar and a half because we have it at, these all start at a half. So a half would be right here, but this one's going to start at the next half. It's going to be a bar and a half after the next thing. And that's playing in the left ear for some reason. Let me see if that's the right pitch. It's not. There we go. So let me see if that's how, like, because it looks like it goes like this, and then when should the delay come in? So it's so So the delay channel is going to come in right here, which it's an odd thing, so. Oh, geez. Okay, so it's going to come in at right here, which is a fourth of a, like 3/4 of a step in. So we're going to have it go to a mixer track. And we're going to say so we're going to say it's an interval of how much? 3 steps. And we're going to have it we're going to have it activate right here. Cool. I like it. And this is also going to be in the reverb channel. Beautiful. Love it. All right, so we're going to go back and say, because I forgot the intervals, so we're going to say what interval is the first echo. Well, actually, they're both at the same interval, which is 2 steps. So we're going to have another delay channel. At 2 steps. Okay, that's a bit much on the level. Beautiful, perfect. Okay, so now we need a little bit of a cutoff. But I want to check on that because there was a, did the, yeah, the velocities do that. That, first off, the rhythm synth is really loud. And the jazz guitar is really low. Maybe not that loud. I saw the synth arp did. Synth arp is kind of loud. And then the bell is already sounding like it fits. Now we just need the other part to that. Which I think it happens at a full bar after the first part. No. It actually happens at an odd interval. So it happens... So I got the first bar, 2 bars. So it's 1 bar after, 2 bars after. And then almost a quarter, like almost a quarter after. But it's like 1/4 of a step less. So it's 1 bar, 2 bars after. Actually, I think the interval is not right. It's supposed to be a quarter of a step after. So we have, this would be a full 2 bars. And then a quarter of a step would be, or no, a step would be right here. And then a quarter less would be right here. But it's also, I think it's an octave higher. Yes, exactly. And then we also need to gate that delay after. So it's going to disable right here. But it's going to restart right here. But the crystal, see, the crystal sounds a little bit raw. So let me try to work on that a bit. I think it really just needs some saturation. There we go. Beautiful. Love it. So now it sounds perfect, pretty much. I think I want to cut off those, or lower those super highs, but other than that, yeah. Beautiful. Look. Perfect. Bass cam. Nice upgrade. Thank you. See, it's kind of like already the arpeggio tracks are singing themselves. Let's see what y'all are saying. Love your work. Greetings from Brazil. Hey, bom dia. I learned that from a friend of mine. So it said, why are there so many tracks in the MIDI? It says MIDI track 13, 14. Well, because each time there's a notch on the synth filter. So like the synth is like it sort of has this cutoff sweep, right? Like you hear it, if you're not into music, you hear it morphing basically. So to hear it morphing like that, you have to have, the Super Nintendo was based on samples. You couldn't have a synth that like morphs and changes over time like that. So what you had to do was you had to take the synth, put it into the system, but save it like with a bunch of different samples at different notches of the cutoff filter. So you had to, each time this sound changes and morphs, you had to save that as a new sound. Which means that each time there was an echo, you had to have a different sample. So this is one sample, this is one sample, this is one sample. Each of these are different notches, are different times that the sound changes. So each time the sound changes, you had to have a new MIDI track to note that change, like to note that it's a new instrument, because it's basically the computer sees it as a new instrument. So that's why there's so many. See, like all these, this is the synth, this is the echo of the synth, this is the strings, this is the other layer of the strings, this is the guitar, this is the bell. And also, each time you had an echo, you had to have like an echo that was going on top of another of the same channel. You had to have a new sound. So this is the guitar. This is the synth guitar. This is the bell. This is the synth with its morphing many instruments. And this is like the violin, I think, that's going to come in later. This is another echo of the synth. This is another echo of the bell. This is an echo of the jazz guitar. This is an echo of another echo of the bell. You see, there's a lot of echoes in here, is what it amounts to. Do you create all these manually, or does FL help a bit? FL helps a pretty good bit. I mean, you have the MIDI helps a lot. Like, it helps to see what's going on. But FL helps in creating the synths. Well, really, I create it from scratch. You know, I program the synths, but I do all the plugins are FL. You know, I don't know. I guess it depends on what you mean. But anyway, let's keep going with this. We got we got most of the arpeggios. Actually, there's one more arpeggio we need. That's this one. So what is that? What kind of sound is that? Sounds like it's that synth again. So it's like, it would be 26. What is that? Oh, it's the jazz guitar again. Oh, wait. It froze. Alright, shot time. So we're getting SBC tool is really giving us a run for our money here. It just sounded a lot like the track from the Rope stages. Oh, like with the pitch bend? Yeah, that's really, you know, like with the guitar going dum 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 dum. That's kind of what that does. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's the guitar again. In that second part. But then when you go to 28, that's the violin. And it froze again. But I'm not going to take a shot this time because it's just, you know, if it does it too much in a short time span, that's not fun. So, anyway. So we got the violin for the first part. Well, no, really the only arpeggio is the guitar. So let's try to use the same channel. Just copy, because these are all, it's really just these 4 notes, and then the other 4 notes, and the rest are all echoes. So that's going to occur. Actually, wait, is there, no, this is the, so there's, let's see, it starts, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars after the first bell sound. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, but we need that jazz guitar. So that sounds pretty good already. And so the attacks should be shorter here because we're doing a it's sort of, the notes are shorter, so let's give it about half. Actually, no, they were fine the way they were. And I think the delays need to be shorter. Like, well, the delays need to have shorter amounts. And actually, output mainly. So let's go and interfere, and then right here it's going to dip down to halfway. And I think in the definitely we need to sort of gauge the level too. There we go. That sounds pretty good. So that's pretty much the end of the arpeggios as it stands. How does a plain MIDI editor compare to FL for this type of thing? Well, I mean, this is a plain MIDI editor cannot, like, is just designed to edit MIDI. It's not designed to do any of this stuff that I'm doing, like all these things, like the one that runs Contact and has all these sounds in it. A MIDI editor isn't designed to hold any of these plugins. It's not designed to hold samples. It's not designed to add delay effects or reverb. It's not designed to do any of that. It's just designed to edit a MIDI. But what we're doing, FL Studio is designed to create entire tracks, like actual professional level music. So yeah, that's a big difference there. If that answers your question. Hey, give it more reverb, maybe? I don't think so. These have plenty of reverb. Yeah, it has plenty of reverb. I like it. I like it the way it is. We'll listen to it in the full mix because it kind of like it kind of like really comes out better there. Actually, you know, come to think of it, those delays could be more prominent. They're sort of burying themselves in the original thing. So let's go and like put them back to full volume. Perfect. Maybe we could use a little more reverb. Yeah, because those arpeggios are coming in hot. Have you heard of the MSU pack for DKC? Yeah, actually, I worked with the guy who made it to create it. Yeah. So he's been sort of like updating all my tracks. So now what we've got, we need next the sort of violin or cello solo. So there's like a cello melody in here. And it's going to look a little bit like this. And what we have is sort of a violin harmonic sample. And really it's just like it's the sort of harmonic part gives it a little bit more expression that you would normally get from an 80s sample pack. So really just supposed to sound like a violin note. But because we're playing it lower, it's supposed to be a cello. So let's call this cellody. So we got a basic C minor melody outlining the C minor chord. So you got C, D sharp, and G. We're going to want a little bit of release here for sure. Let me make sure that's the right octave. Cool. Yeah, that's the right octave. It just needs to be have a lot more reverb. It needs to be a lot darker. Yeah, there we go. Get a low pass on it. Sort of reminds me of the melody to it's one of those Star Wars themes. I always forget the name of the theme, but it's like, wait, play it lower. No, it's like, you know, that one where it's like, it's one of the bad guys' themes. It's like, but it's actually played in G sharp, in E minor. Just reminded me of that kind of. But let's see. Sam, for a second I thought that you were streaming from your bathroom because the light brown thing in the background looked like a towel. What? No, that's where I record vocals, actually. I put the microphone up here, and I go and it sort of like absorbs the reflection so you don't get reverb, and so you can record vocals a lot cleaner. So, or like the Force theme. That's what it was called. It was called the Force theme. So it's like. Something like that. That really nice tune. Please restore Mom Banana Bird theme too. Yeah, that we're getting to that. If we end up getting that, this theme is taking a lot longer than I anticipated, which may or may not be because of the shots, but we'll see what we can do. We're almost done with this theme, so now really we just need I'm gonna give this a mixer track, and we're gonna call this cello. And we're gonna say that it's gonna get reverb from the lead thing. And remember, it has delay, I believe. Let's call this cello. So the delay is about 2 steps. So we're going to have a delay of 2 steps. Perfect. That's great like it is. Okay, so we also have this one part where the cello does this like an airplane nosedive effect. And then there's this one note here, which I don't know what that is, but we'll get to that later. Oh, I see. So there's like another part right here. So this is probably the echo of that last one. Let me get this over here. And so, let me a little bit at the bottom there. So we've got this pitch bend here, and I don't know how much the pitch bend is going to be, because it doesn't... See, the pitch bends that are automated in the MIDI will tell me kind of where the pitch bends are, but it doesn't... The scale is inaccurate. So I could copy this scale, depending on where the thing starts. Okay, so the note starts there. So I could copy like that. And then go say, it's probably be on the arpeggio track, even though it's not an arpeggio. But we're going to need another cello, because this is a different, it's going on at the same time. And we're going to say that it kind of, I'm going to paste it here because I have to copy the actual notes, and it's going to ruin my clipboard if I go and copy it again. So let's go and copy this. And it's going to go, where's it going to go? It's going to go 1.25 bars after that last echo. 1 bar and 3 steps, it looks like. Yeah. Oh wait, that's the last one. This is a 1/2 bar, is going to be 3 steps. And we're going to cut it and bring it to the cello. And actually, because the sample sort of run, well, no, it only runs out because it's up high. It's too high of an octave. But actually, it does start up here, but it bends down. So what we're going to do is, let's see. I should have had the, where did I put the automation for that pitch? I put it in the original channel. But this one needs to go in the, oh wait. No, I had it in the right spot. I just had the notes in the wrong spot. So these need to come over here. So I'm going to need the looped one for this, because it's the sample runs out of time. So see, the scale is not right because it's not bending enough. And it's also not smooth because the SNES was based on like sort of big steps, but the curve here is very interesting. So we can sort of follow this. So I'm just going to kind of, let's say maybe this isn't supposed to be an octave. But the second one is definitely not supposed to be that much. Maybe a few notes. But I definitely think that we want a more smoother curve because it's obvious when it starts, when it's just kind of going completely steady. But if you give it a little bit of movement, even just a little bit, it'll make a big difference. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. Okay, here we go. We just had to zoom in. There we go. That'll do. So this will go in the same mixer track. Except maybe not, because it's going to have different delays. So let's call this violin, because it could be a violin. Well, actually, no, it's more like it sounds, the bass in it sounds more like a cello. Cello 2. Actually, let's just call this feedback, because it's like a feedback effect, really. So the delay here is going to be pretty big. Actually, it's a different note here. Oh, so this is the original signal, and that's it. The other one's a delay. That's right. So for the second feedback effect, this one comes more... this one's the original signal. And it comes sooner, so which means I'm going to have to go... say that it's 4 steps before. But it also runs into the thing, so I'm going to need a new channel. So which means I'm also going to need to copy that pitch bend up and just change it to the other track, about a few steps earlier. So it's going to start right here. And I want it to go into the feedback. Oh, it's already there, so that's cool. The only thing left is that we need to go into reverb in the accompaniment. And I want to give it some release too, because it kind of stops abruptly. Cool. So now we just need to add our cellity in here. And the cellity should be louder. Or no, the cello feedback. And the feedback should be louder. So now we need that delay. It's going to be 4 steps. what are y'all saying? Let's see. Sir, are you aware of a software called SystemWorks Resonance 4 that automatically equalizes headphones according to their frequency spots? I'm not aware, but I'm not sure that's something I need because I have like some pretty good headphones, so I'm happy with that. Maybe GoFundMe to compose Y's soundtrack for DK64. What? I think the DK60, I think the Donkey Kong 64 soundtrack was amazing, as it was. Doesn't need to be changed. I love your restoration of aquatic ambience. Thank you. Yeah, it was that or Jungle Hijinks, something I randomly found on YouTube. Have you played Mega Man The Willy Wars 2 for the Mega Drive? No, I haven't. I'm not much of a gamer, but that doesn't sound like a very appealing title. Willy Wars? I'm good on that. I'm more interested in stuff like Cuphead and Hollow Knight were my favorite titles. And Breath of the Wild was actually really nice. I didn't care much for the gameplay I saw on YouTube of Tropical Freeze, but some of the games out there are really cool. Nice to know that there's still being good stuff being made out there. Just imagine this level. I wonder if for restoration of Mega Man would need real guitars. Well, no, I mean the restorations use the actual samples that they originally used, but a cover of Mega Man would need real guitars, which would be awesome, I admit. Especially if you're into 80s stuff. So let me see if that sort of stacks up to how the original sounds, that feedback thing. That bell's got to be really loud. I think that the pitch bend on the feedback is needs to come in sooner. I think I forgot to scale it, is what it is. No, it's just that it needs to be less intense because it's sort of just a subtle like lift up. Maybe 50% scale. There we go. That's good. I think that cello, it doesn't need to be low pass so much as it needs to be There we go. The top end just needs to be taken down a bit. Good. I like it. So let's loop that. And I think I have an idea for an ending, too. Perfect. All right, so yeah, that's good. I'm gonna play it for y'all while I do the whole stuff. Now, I want to say that the feedback should have a little bit more prominent of a low end. And a little bit of saturation, too. Maybe that crystal doesn't need to be so loud. Maybe, but it could be a little louder than that. Okay, so let's see what y'all are saying real quick. So, what headphones do you have, and what are you, and are they really so magical that you use them instead of those giant speakers? Well, no, it's not that they're magical, it's that I have a microphone, and if I played them in the speakers, you'd hear it in the microphone. So that's why I'm using that. I sort of alternate between the speakers and the headphones to get a more honest response, because your speakers could be the best speakers in the world, but still you're subjugated to the room that you're living in. So if the room that you're in has reverb, you're gonna like has reflections, you're gonna hear those reflections, and it's gonna come back to your ears, and it's gonna sort of manipulate how you hear the sound. Whereas if you have headphones, you're hearing it like the sound is confined to your ears, so you're hearing an honest representation. But the idea that you can have more volume and the fact that things are so close to your ears are not too healthy to use all the time. So it's healthy to have both. Like you have to have your speakers and then you have to have your earphones. You can use both. And then I also sort of use my phone to gauge what a mix sounds like, because most people are going to be listening to their phone, and so it helps to sort of have that perspective of like the sound. Okay, this is what it sounds like in a phone. This is what it sounds like on like stereo speakers. And this is what it sounds like in headphones. If that makes sense. So what is a sample exactly? This doesn't sound like the original SNES, but it's an original sample. It's not a sample. It's there's no, we're not taking any work from the original. We're recreating the work. So like the samples that come from the a sample is just a piece of audio. So like if you record your voice on your phone, that's a sample. That's a sample of your voice. You're taking a sample of sound that's being created using a computer. That's all that it means when I say a sample. When you say a sample, it means you're taking a sample of the real world. You're going out and recording something that you heard, and you're sort of taking a record of that, or a sample. It's like when you offer free samples. It's like, hey, free samples, where you're taking a sample of your voice by recording it. So that's what a sample means, but we're not taking a sample of the original like audio from the game. We're taking a sample of the keyboards that were used to create this soundtrack, and we're sort of bringing them back, because when they made the game, they took a sample of the keyboards and they put it in the game, but it was compressed. So now we're taking a sample again because we have new technology, and we're sort of putting it into a new like HD light. If that makes sense. So do you have any recommendations on setting up a working FL template? At least in FL, that is. Bus groups, playlist groups, and other things. Group names is what I've heard so far. Yeah, just really name everything. Like name your channels. So you right click and do name. Name your channels, name your patterns, and name your mixer tracks. And what I sort of do as far as buses go is what I do is I go into the end of the track, and I right click and say dock to the right. So you dock to the right, it'll show it all right here. So these is where my buses go. So I sort of dock my tracks to the right. See, this is actually 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, and 125. I've just docked them to the right. I've changed the color. If you go and right click and say change color, I've renamed it to lead. I've renamed it to reverb. And what I did was, if you right click a mixer track, you can go right click route to this track only, which means that instead of going to the master, instead of just going to output, it's going to this track. Like it's going like, so I have the reverb track going to lead, and then lead is going to the master, which is where you hear it. But the reverb track is passing through, it's bussing through lead. So what that means is that I have the option to, if I want to set it up to where I can set up a track to go from lead, I can set it up to go directly to lead, or I can set it up to pass through reverb first. So that means it has reverb before it goes through the lead bus. And so like if you dock tracks, you can dock tracks to the right and have them act as buses. And so which means that you can have anything go pass through the lead bus before it goes to the master, if that makes any sense. So it's basically just rerouting mixer channels. So the idea of using the same samples is debatable, since the ones they were used only used because they sounded good when compressed. Yeah, they did only use them because they sound good when they were compressed. So there's no way of knowing what they would have used if they had high quality equipment, if they were actually producing a song. But what we can do is say like, okay, this is what they were going for, the kind of sound that was supposed to be heard to us. And we can sort of recreate that. It's an art, really. There's no right answer. It's just everybody's best interpretation. And at this point, it's my best interpretation, is what you're hearing. So it's based on like the original sheet music or something. No, yes and no. So like the original in the music in the game was encoded in SPC format, which means that it was subjugated to. It was not in MIDI format, but it was like hexadecimal format. And what someone did was they crudely converted it to MIDI. They made it so that like they sort of converted the hexadecimals to MIDI, and it's a big mess. If you play the MIDI tracks, it just sounds terrible. Like all the drum tracks are pointing to melodic instruments, so it doesn't sound right. And all the there's like echo effects baked into it. There's sort of echo notes, so you have to sort of really interpret it. Most of the work comes from interpreting the sort of translating the SPC crudely converted MIDI into an actual DAW session. So that's kind of really what it comes from, converting the SPC data into a DAW session is where most of the work comes from. Just try to figure out if it's you just writing something down after listening. No, I'm not writing anything down. It's actually you're hearing what you're hearing is the actual notes from the game, but they're just sort of converted so many times they're like sort of reinterpreted. I didn't write anything down. So you listen to the game and write some sheet music down. Are you used to that? No, I don't do that at all. I'm not very good at converting things by ear. I'm not very good at transcription. All right. I love channel. Thank you. So this song is pretty much done. We're only at 2 hours and 20 minutes now. So what I'm going to do is start on the actual Banana Bird theme. Let me find out where that is. Mama Bird. Okay, so what I can interpret from that is a lot of the instruments are the same. So we could, in this project, is pretty lightweight. So like we haven't had a lot of things going through. There's barely any instruments, barely any channels. So we can go and just do this in the same project, and you sort of use what we have, so we don't have to add all the other instruments in again. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is go and say 25. Let's see. Let me go and create a new arrangement. Let's say Mama Bird. And then we're going to go to a new pattern. Okay, so it looks like we got, let's see, what's our first channel here? Okay, so I'm thinking that could be the same, sort of remove this for what thing. So I'm thinking that could be the same as, this crystal track that we currently have. So let's go say, Mama B. Bells. It's also going to be a different tempo, so let's see. First off, let's cut the loop out. So obviously the loop happens right here. 25. Now, I would argue that these are echo tracks. So maybe we can remove them and see how it sounds. Yeah, it sort of gives that sound of, you sort of have that sound already with the echoes that we have set up. So let's go grab the other layer to that. Perfect. Yeah, so it's basically in thirds. And it's alternating between minor third and major thirds based on the scale. But yeah. So we got that going. This is working out pretty good, keeping it in the same project. So what we're going to do is sort of put this in the middle. And yeah, that's that for that. And so what do we have next? We have our bass. Which it sounds like is the, I think that's the cello again. Yeah. So we're going to create a new channel for that because it's so bassy. And it's definitely going to need to be looped. So let's call this bass. Sort of sounds like Zelda in a way. Maybe we can like sort of remove that attack. Maybe make that attack less pronounced. No, that doesn't work. But it sounds pretty good like that. Pretty ominous. Has a vibrato for sure. So let's give it some release too. Cool. So let's say that this is a contra bass because it's so low. Give it its own mixer track. Put it into accompaniment. So next we have the vibraphone melody. So now we go to contact and we're going to add the vibraphone because the vibraphone is a contact instrument. And there we go. That's our octave. Definitely need it on channel 2. And there was a another channel here where it was like da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum. I think that's, yeah, directly after it. Let me get them up to full velocity. I don't know if it played that soon though. So definitely think it was a bar later. Cool. So that's pretty much our melody there. And this can be changed to just bells, because we only have one real bells track. And then there's an echo for the bells. I think it's a step and a quarter. Step and a half. Actually, 4.5 steps. And I think it's the same for the melody. No, actually, it's 3 steps for the melody. So we go... we give the vibraphone its own mixer track, and we in contact, and we tell that to go to outputs 3 and 4. And then we send that to another mixer track, which would be, let's see. We'll call this one Vibes. We'll send it to the reverb. And then we'll give it a delay, which we'll send it first, so we'll start off at 3 steps. And then what did we say that second interval was with the static notes of the vibes? Ooh, it sounds epic in the MIDI, actually. It sounds orchestral. So it's 4.5 steps. So we'll say that when it comes in with the static notes, we'll say that it's, which is right here. Four and a quarter, which is 4/12. Cool. This will go here. And let's mute out those MIDI notes. Looks like there's a lot of panning on this one, so let's see what's going on with that. So one layer of the vibes are going to the right, 73%, which is the top layer. And the second layer, the bottom layer, is going 73% to the left. So that pretty much means they're spread out. So we don't have to do that. It's just a way to make them spread across the, sort of feel like they're everywhere. So let's go and do stereo separation for the crystal. See, that sort of makes them feel like they're everywhere. Let's make sure the delay is ping pong for the shorter one anyway. For the two-stepper. I like that. It really gives a better sense of the riff there. So now the vibes are going to be center, which means I'll probably need to go and give it a sort of offset. Yeah, I do have an offset already. Cool. And that's pretty much all we got so far. So then what's next? So we got this, so we got the guitar thing going again. And we got it echoing at lots of steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. for 5, or 6 really. But let's go and copy the first part. No, actually, this is an echo. This is the original signal. And it should happen 3 steps after the downbeat. Which it does. And let me get it at full velocity. Make sure it's at the right octave. SPC tool froze again. Alright, another shot. Which we're doing pretty good. Nothing too crazy yet. I'm going to use all my... I'm running out of rum here. Woo. All right. Getting to me. Okay. Okay, let's see what y'all are saying. I wonder if it would be possible to modify a SNES 9X. So you could play the level with the remix. Well, yeah, there's an MSU patch. I want to make game music one day, but I can't even play the keyboard. Where do I start? What is the path to take in learning so that I can compose and arrange a VGM? Well, actually, I mean, all you really need to do is learn how to write music. But when you're composing for video game music, you shouldn't really think of it as composing for video game music. You should think of it as writing for a story. Well, actually, there's a difference between the mediums. I mean, the difference between writing and composing is not the same, if that makes sense. So the difference between writing is exactly the same because you're writing for a story. You're writing for something that someone's going to hear. But as far as composing for the medium, there's things you have to consider, like the fact that you don't want it, just like a film, you don't want it to play like an actual song. You want it to feel like a static track throughout. You don't want any jarring changes. You don't want anything like that. You don't want it to have like drops and rises like an actual song would. But which is like how a film does it. You know, there's sort of a droning track throughout. There's no like jarring changes. But unlike a film track, you want it to sort of like change with the gameplay. But basically, if you want to write for VGM, you just have to, as far as I understand it, you just have to know what the story is that you're writing for. Like, know what, like, sort of practice by writing sort of like you take a theme, take a simple theme like a jungle theme. Okay, well, what do I want? What does that mean to me? What is that, like, what sort of prompts my idea of a jungle theme? You sort of invent a game in your head to write for. And then you say, like, okay, well, when I imagine a jungle environment, what do I see? And you sort of write a track for that. What do you want the players to feel when you do that? So if you don't know anything about music, but you don't have to play the keyboard. You can write everything in the DAW. But if you don't know anything about music theory, you just study a little bit about like music theory and like writing and chord progressions and melody and stuff like that. that'll get you started. Like music theory, you study your scales, you study things like that. Like you want to know your basic scales, your basic chords, what you're looking at, and then you can sort of, like, you really, if you have a keyboard, or if you can get a keyboard on your phone, just go and play that and see what it makes you feel, and sort of like play around with different feelings. And if you like, as long as you know how to construct a chord, you're off to a good start. You can sort of feel it out. Music theory, it helps to know, but you don't need to know it to write music. You just need to know how the things feel. So like when I was writing Timber, so to speak, I was sort of like, okay, well, I wanted to create a forest environment and be like, well, like sort of create a serene feeling. So I had all these like forest sounds, like the wind and the trees rustling, and then I sort of had the lo-fi beat come in, and you just sort of create a feeling of that. I want to be like Toby Fox. I don't know who that is, but yeah, if you want to be like Toby Fox, just there's probably some tutorials on how to sound like that. There's countless of video on the topics of both game composition, both for pros and both beginners. Yes. So if you wanna be a composer for video games, look up. It's a combination of, or if you really want to do anything, it's a combination of watching videos, tutorials on the subject, and just practicing. Like not being afraid to experiment, like not being afraid to do something and be like, well, I wasted my time, but you learn something. You know, you learn something every time you go into it, and just sort of like try to play with different themes, like compose different things. There's a great Twitter account called Music Weeklies, where you sort of create, like, they give you prompts and you sort of write to that, and you sort of write a music track every week, and that's a really good exercise. Just read on the topic. Yeah, just it's a combination of practice, and actually it's a lot of practice and a lot of looking at videos on what people are doing, so you can get ideas like, okay, this is what the tricks that people are using and stuff like that. And also listen to a lot of music. Listen to a lot of tracks that you like. Look for a lot of tracks. Where's the video on the YouTube on the DKC just death jingles? There's no video. There's not going to be any video. I don't really care to upload a video on that. But it's on the Dropbox. You can download it in FLAC format. And it'll be in the MSU patch as well. Toby Fox created an entire RPG game himself, along with composing the music for it. Okay, well, yeah, if you want to do that, just search, like, Google some, like, look into video game development as a whole if you want to develop video games. Are you making a song? Yes, he did it, and it rocks. Yeah, just follow what he does and sort of practice what you want to do. Like, practice that. Practice writing your own video. Just go and do it. Just go and write your own video game tunes. If you need to know something, like, just search, okay, how to create chord progressions, how to create scales. What are your scales? What do you need to know? What do you need to get started? Just go and YouTube that, is what I would say. I sort of just kind of got started over the years playing keyboard any way I could and playing the DKC tracks, and I sort of realized, okay, I can write my own things. And that's kind of how that worked. Sort of had my own process. But basically, let's check out these guitar notes here. And I believe SPC Tool just crashed as we were doing that, so. Okay, so that's the right pitch. It sounds right. And it's the right echoes and everything, so it sounds perfect the way it is. Beautiful. All right. Love the emotion here. It's sort of like a very sad, contemplative theme. It sounds like a lot like Zelda. Like, it sort of reminds me of the Forest of Nights or something in Oracle of Ages, which was a game that I had when I was younger. It sort of reminds me of that. So that's sort of our melody line, so to speak. I think there was nothing else that really went into it. There's that arpeggio there. that arpeggio is part of the melody. So it starts, sort of does this, and then it echoes out. Sort of those last four notes echo out. Yeah. So let's just change this to Mama B melody, because it's more than the vibes. And it's sort of the vibes again for this arpeggio, but they're softer. So maybe I'll see if a lower velocity works for that, but we might need to make a new channel altogether. I'm sorry. And we sort of need to postpone some of that delay. Actually, let me see what the delay profile is on it. So there's two delays. One is, let's see. Actually, there might be three. So the first delay is going to be 1.5 steps. What we have right now is at 412, so that's not going to work, but we've already automated the timing, so that could work too. But let's document our echoes here. We have a 3-stepper. No, that's a 1.5. And then sort of at the end, it does this thing where it actually goes, it's a long delay. So sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's actually a 6-step delay. So there's a 1.5 and a 6. And then there's also the 4s. All right, but they're all gated at certain points. 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. So there's a 1.5, a 3, and a 6. Which if you just, well, no, the 3 is gated. So basically, let me see if that's, if the lower velocity is soft enough to use the same delay channel. Yeah, I think it's soft enough. So let's use the so let's use this delay here as the sort of, let's use this as the 6-stepper since it's already a long one. So it starts off at the highest note. That's when the 6-stepper comes in. Right here where the cursor is. So it's going to change to 6 steps. right here. See, so you sort of get that downward arpeggio coming in at 6 steps. And first off, we need to disable that. It only comes in later on, so. But really, I don't want to disable that unless I have to, and I want to bring in a new one and then disable that. So let's say that this one is the one that's always there, which is the 1.5. The 1.5 is always there. So let's bring this one in at 1.5. So 124, and then like that. Cool, so that sounds good. Now we need to bring in a new delay and gate it so that it doesn't play during the regular vibes, but it does start here. Actually, no, it starts when the arpeggio reaches its peak. That's when it starts. So it would be like right in between here, so we gotta go right here is when it would start. But it would be a 6-stepper. So cool, that sounds good. So that's 2 out of 3 done. And then the next one is, we have these 4-steppers that's going to go between the 6 and the, yeah. So we have yet another delay here. And that's going to be a 4, I think. So that's going to be where it's going to start. Actually, yeah. And this is going to go before the 6-stepper. Cool. So maybe this delay needs a bit of work, but it works pretty well. I think this one, well, the 6-stepper we want to be low, but the 4 one we want to be a lot. Cool, so I think that sounds really well. Let me check it with the original. And we're sort of at our 3-hour mark, so after this we'll take a break. So that sounds pretty good. Yeah, it sounds all right for now. So that's pretty much we got laid down the bass and the sort of bell rhythm and then the melody. So we'll take a break for now, and I'll come back in about a few hours or 2. So let's see what y'all are saying. Let me save this. And this is always a thing, something it does. All right. Oh, really easy. You're the best. Thank you. No problem. So I never collect off the members. I hope everyone's doing well. Everyone is doing well. There you go. All right, so we're going to take a break, and I will be back in a few hours. So, yeah. Jam and Sam out, taking a break. Coming